What is up, guys? Welcome to this Integra vlog. It's been a while and I apologize. This is going to be more of an update, but I am going to be kind of tinkering with stuff and messing with stuff this vlog. I don't know, there hasn't been much going on with the Integra besides minor little issues here and there that I've been dealing with that aren't really worth, filming and vlogging over. But now I guess I should actually vlog and update on the Teggy and what's going on. I've been having this fuel pressure drop. It might be a leak. I don't know if it is. It used to be, but now I'm pretty sure it's not. But I'm not 100% sure because I'm pretty sure the style fuel pump I have does not come with a check valve, so it won't hold fuel pressure, and it can just make your fuel pressure drop on your gauge. Therefore, I don't know if it's dropping because I just don't have a check valve, or if it's dropping because I have a really bad fuel leak. And that's kind of really important. So this thing's going to be my best friend and help me kind of diagnose whether or not it's actually a leak. If it is a leak, where it's coming from. I'm just going to diagnose problems with this thing. It's going to be my best friend. And if you don't know what a check valve is, it pretty much will hold the fuel pressure. It's like a one-way valve, so it can blow that way and not this way. Yeah, pretty simple. And a lot of fuel pumps, stock fuel pumps, come with them. Some don't. It's kind of annoying because I have had multiple fuel leaks before and I can't tell, if I fixed them or not. So yeah, other than installing that check valve, I'm going to be rewiring some stuff. Like my car almost caught on fire the other day. On the latest BMW vlog, me and Zach were jumping his M3 with the Teggy, and all of a sudden the Teggy just shut off.
I might have to gut these, so I might just get a new mid pipe altogether and put it in there.
That'd be cool.
Your car just died.
Yeah, she did. We're like, couldn't figure out what it was. My fuel pump wouldn't prime anymore, and my fan wouldn't turn on anymore. My fan is like bypassed through my fuel pump's fuse, which is really sketchy, and it actually burned a hole through the fuse and almost caught on fire. Yeah, it was really sketchy. And I actually think that gave me a lot of fuel issues too, like with my power band not being as broad as it should be and breaking up a lot, and a lot of weird problems. So I think this is gonna get rid of a lot of those problems, not having that fan bypassed off of that fuse, because it's probably dropping a lot of voltage. And yeah, whenever I unplugged it, the wire going to the fuse, and prime my pump again, it sounded like a totally different pump. It sounded way stronger. It didn't sound weak and weird. Kind of just, it sounded like a racing fuel pump like it should. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to rewire my fan to a switch and an inline fuse just to be even more cautious. Yeah, in case you haven't been able to tell, kind of got a bad addiction here. Oh, another update on the Teggy. Tomorrow, someone's going to be buying this B18 from me, finally. I did want to take it apart for a video, kind of inspect it, but it's not really worth it, and I need the cash for this. And in case you haven't been keeping up with the Camaro vlogs, she is getting a big old V8. I was going to build and turbocharge the V6, but I decided that's the same thing I would do to a V8, and it costs the same for internals, everything. It costs the same amount of money to build a V6 as it does to build a V8. So I figured I'd get the most bang out of my buck. But yeah, until tomorrow, because I'm tired. Alright, so we are into the next day. The dude buying the B18 should be here within the next 30 minutes or so. Don't really want to film all that because that's just, a little disrespectful, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be nice having this extra space. I kind of feel bad because I wanted to take it apart, but it's not a priority. These are my priorities. I need to, play with these instead of this. This isn't going to get me anywhere. I was considering rebuilding it and turbocharging it one day, but it really wasn't even that. It's just the fact that it's my daily driver, and I needed a car to work right then and there, so I chose the fastest route, which was just getting a B20B and not rebuilding this. As you can see, the B18 is finally gone, and I have more room for this engine. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean all this stuff up because I need to pull the Integra in here, and yeah, I need to make room somehow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that.
Alright, so the guy who just bought the B18 took the head off. He sent me these pictures. That explains why I was running really bad. This guy seriously saved his internals by, backing out and disassembling the engine when he knew he had to. That oil pump failing on him really just, like this bearing, it's kind of hard for you to see. Like, yeah, right there. That's a huge gash in it. This engine would have just slowly destroyed itself. Actually, it wouldn't have been that slow, but...
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, it's been like 3 days and I've been, this is how you get on the road to 1,000 horsepowers, my guys. 1,000 horses. Just gotta crank that vape up, you know what I'm saying? Get her going. Hit that rev limiter a couple times. Give her a couple shots, or a couple 75 shots. Let's do a couple 100 shots now. This thing's gonna start up and be 1,000 horsepower all motor now, just like that. Thank you, vape gods. I think I finally cleaned everything up a good amount. Enough. Besides over here, that's like my interior. I need to put back my car. Yeah, I still need to clean a lot. Like, my toolbox is totally not okay. But I deem this garage clean enough now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the car up and start doing stuff to it and stuff. Alright, so far I've just been tinkering with the wiring though, cleaning it up a lot. That's like my thing, by the way, zip tying over electrical tape just to make sure the electrical tape doesn't like go anywhere, because a lot of times it likes to unwrap after a while. But yeah, this wiring was really janky. I've just been redoing it completely. Here's a ground for the fan. Then the other wire, that green wire, is a positive, this was the one running to my fuel pump fuse, which was no good. Well, this actually ended up turning into that speaker wire, which I ended up replacing with more speaker wire, sadly, but it's not as sketch. It's thicker gauge and copper, at least. The other stuff that was, the other speaker wire that was being used was really thin, and probably not so good to use. And here's my, that's where it goes to the speaker wire. We got a speaker wire running through here, underneath the headlight, into that little hole, through the hole, all the way up to here. Do a little zip tie just to try to keep it out of the way more, into the little thing. Then from there, I got that wire. Well, I tucked it up here. This is the wire coming through the firewall. I had to extend it right there, as you can see. It comes around here to the white wire right here. I'm gonna have to run another wire back because this is a positive. I'm not going to be able to just ground it to the chassis. But yeah, then I'm just going to run another wire back, which is also going to be positive. And then that's going to go to, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little 12 volt post, like on my fuse board, that you can tap off of for power. So that's what I'm doing with my little fuel pressure gauge. So I'm going to do that, along with running a fuse, inline fuse, to the post. So yeah, from the fan, through the firewall, to the switch, back into the fuse board for power. And before it goes into the fuse board, like I said, I'm going to put in an inline fuse just for extra safety. Even though the switch kind of is like a fuse, but I'd rather save a switch rather than blowing a switch and being like, oh crap, now I need another switch. I'd rather just have an inline fuse and
blow a fuse if something goes wrong. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be my little wiring patch for this. I'm already pretty much done. I just have to wire this up to the switch and then wire another line into the post. And you can see I already have it wired to the inline fuse, and that just sticks right into the post. Alright guys, it's official. I am officially super hot boy. Hear that? Race car. Alright, so this is how I have my check valve set up. This is gonna go onto my fuel feed that's giving me my fuel to my engine bay. It's gonna go through the check valve, through this hose, into my AN lines, into the bottom of my adjustable fuel pressure regulator, and then obviously into the fuel rail and such. This is my fuel pressure sensor that's going to my gauge. And my problem is I'll prime my car and it'll start to drop pressure right away. So I never really know if I actually have a leak or if it's just because I don't have a check valve, which I'm pretty sure the AEM pump I have doesn't come with a check valve. Pretty much once this is installed in here, if this makes my leak go away and it holds fuel pressure, then that means I didn't have a check valve and I did have a problem. So now I will have more reliable fuel pressure and I can rely on my gauge a little bit more. So if it does start to drop, I'll know it's an actual leak. So from that point on, I will then remove this and move further back to my car, back to my fuel pump, and I'm going to put this on my fuel pump. And if the leak still stays away, then we're good. We're even more good, and it's definitely not a leak. But if the leak comes back after that, then that means I actually do have a leak somewhere, like from a hose, like a bad hose on my tank somewhere, something like that. So this is actually a good diagnosing tool for fuel pressure problems and such, a check valve. So alright, so we are leak-free in the engine bay. That check valve actually increased the fuel pressure, so rather than priming to like 36 or so, it primed to like 65. But it was holding pressure a lot. It was actually dropping a little bit slowly, and that's only because of those two clamps I had on the check valve. These kind of clamps. I'm gonna assume they're not meant for 65 pounds of fuel pressure. But I know that I'm good in the engine bay now, so I'm just going to go ahead and put everything back to normal, get better clamps for that check valve setup I got, and I'm going to move that into the tank on the fuel pump. Alright, so this may or may not work, but I will admit it is a little sketchy. The only way, it might not even fit into my fuel tank. There's not enough room to fit the check valve, like right here where I was kind of wanting to put it, right where the fuel pump feeds into the line that goes to the engine bay, and then this one's a return. But yeah, it's a little sketchy, but the lines aren't pinching too hard or touching the metal too hard anywhere to where it'll really mess anything up, so it might work as long as it fits. Alright, so now we got version 2. Originally what I wanted to do, but I just wanted it to fit. I had to do some minor modifications. Guess we'll see. Well, it almost wanted to fit. There we go. Now this is going to screw on through here, which feeds to the bottom of my regulator, which feeds into my fuel rail. And then that's going to go into my fuel feed coming from my tank. Alright, everything seems to be holding on tight. I don't smell any fuel. Pump's put back together, obviously. It's been chilling at 23 pounds for a solid minute now or so. I lied. Okay, we got a problem. The main problem is I don't see no problem. I smell no fuel whatsoever. Maybe the check valve didn't lock that time. You know, the little thing in the valve, maybe it didn't lock. Let me try again. This is unacceptable. See, before it dropped and then it stopped at like 23. So that's whenever the valve kicked in, I guess, and it locked. But it's not locking like it should. It's dropping. Unless it is locking and there's a leak post-check valve. Which I don't think there is. No leakage going on anywhere. I don't know, maybe it's being weird. Maybe it'll fix itself. Huh. Problem halfway fixed. Let's go drive it and have fun anyways. Screw it. This thing's got a million kinks. I'll work them all out eventually. I love this fan. My car is ready to stall out for some reason. This fuel pressure dropped a lot. Wow. That's not good. I gotta get home. Like now. Car is not happy right now. God. Just go ahead and turn you off. Holy crap. That's not good. Hold up. Well, this is depressing. The car just scraped really bad. I have to leave the Teggy here. I'm sad.
No, just call Zach and he'll help. You guys can figure it out together. Come on.
Alright, so lucky me, Chance got off work early to give me a tow. Thank you, Chance. Now I gotta figure out what the hell happened here. I was filming when it happened. I was vlogging. Yeah, I was gonna do some pulls. And I got into like second gear, I think, and then it just started to die. Yeah, it does. Alright, so good news. The check valve is broken. And the way I know it's broken is because it doesn't do the lock thing when you blow back on the opposite end anymore. Like, it's a one-way valve, so it blows this way, right? Like it's supposed to. But it's supposed to lock when you do it this way. It's not locking. Yeah, I'll probably just find a better one that's made for like high pressure. Honestly, this might be made for like a lawnmower or some shit like that, so I don't know. Alright, I think we're good. Got it set up the way it was. I at least have the assurance from the check valve, the 5 seconds it lasted, that I am leak free in the engine bay. Let's see. Oh no. Crap, I don't know. Alright, so it is the next day, and I think I'm starting to realize my problem. Well, I think Chance is here to help me move the car.
It's wet outside and it's a little hard to move the car. Usually this thing's super light, but a check valve seems pretty simple, right? Pretty much got a flap that allows fluid and air or whatever to go past it one way, and if you try to push it the other way, it pushes a flap and closes a flow. Saw it? Perfect timing. Okay, as I was talking to myself with the camera, the check valve, they're pretty simple, right? It's like a flap, pretty much, that moves one way, and whenever it's pushed one way, it allows fluid or whatever flow to go around the flap, right? And then when you try to push it the other way, it pushes the flap back and closes it.
Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, there's two nipples. It says it's got an arrow.
Yeah, it's not.
But
it's
the flap
flat.
is gone now.
The one in my car's plastic.
It blows both ways now. It's supposed to do the one-way thing, and now it doesn't, so the flap is gone. And the thing is, I'm not picking up any fuel pressure, right? So if that flap would have went into my regulator and passed it, like if it would have broken up into little pieces and like went around, my car would still be running. It would be probably running kind of crappy, but it would at least still run. And I would still get fuel pressure at least. And it would be a lot harder to figure out my problem. But considering I'm getting no fuel pressure at all to the regulator, which is where my sensor is at, which is where I pick up my fuel pressure, that means like there's no fuel coming into here whatsoever. So that means a flap is probably stuck at the end of this hose somewhere, like this hose down here that goes to the bottom. So it didn't do any damage. It's like it's an easy find. It's an easy fix. Trying to get some clean shots before my camera dies.
Just like, walk around the car.
I just hooked the old one back up that likes to make my car run a little lean. So, this check valve comes apart, apparently. So this comes apart.
Bro, I can't wait to see this thing running.
And the way this check valve seems to work.
Oh shit, you put the whole fucking thing together already.
Huh.
Almost, right? Or is that no?
I just kind of mocked the heads up and the exhaust manifolds and intake. Yeah, I'm excited. Well, rather than a flap like I imagined, it's actually a ball. The one way it would flow is like when the ball's pushed up against this little metal piece. So I guess I pushed the little ball through here, and I can't find it in any of my lines. It's nowhere to be found, and there's no way that it's going through there. I hope there's not a little fucking ball in my fucking fuel rail or filter. That would suck. Sad faces everywhere right now. Moment of truth or moment of poop? My pump sounds louder now. My gauge doesn't work because I don't have my regulator in. Nope, there's a ball stuck in my fuel rail. Hey Chance, I got a ball stuck in my fuel rail. Alright, this thing is not starting whatsoever, and the weirdest part is this thing's getting no fuel. My only fuel line coming into the engine bay. Alright, so now I'm recording on my phone. I just got some mounts for my camera, and I also just ordered another camera actually. It's like a knockoff GoPro, so I might do a little camera review on that. Yeah, my YouTube's about to get a little upgrade, but yeah, check it out. Oh yes. It looks so cool. It's like not going anywhere. Like that is shaking my car. So I really trust this. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I definitely want to go down some roads with this thing. I might mount it. I don't really trust this on my bumper. I'll put the GoPro on my bumper. for exhaust noises and stuff.
Gave this a second look. I'd say that's a problem. What's really weird is that my check valve did break. That's just bad timing because there is a little ball or something that is gone somewhere. Hopefully not in my fuel system at all. Alright. That should do her. Just gonna keep that on for like a day. I'll probably put the other regulator on the next vlog. Pump's all installed, everything's all good and ready to go. It should and better start right up. Come on, Taggy. Just be nice. Aha! Oh, I do have a check engine light. I'm gonna check on that real quick. Alright, this looks awesome. Sadly, I didn't decide to press record because I was kind of in the moment, but I was just pulling around with the Civic and it was pretty fun. About to go down one of my favorite roads. Ball joints. My car doesn't sound as good with the stock regulator on it, especially because it leans it out a little bit. It doesn't pop as much as it usually would. I don't know if you can hear that good on the camera, but one day, whenever I get that little GoPro camera thing, I'm gonna put it by my exhaust on my bumper and see if I actually shoot flames. See how loud it actually sounds on camera. Seems to hold my camera well. I got it on my windshield right now. I also have that OBD thing hooked up running through my phone. It's pretty awesome. Alright guys, I guess that's it for this vlog. The Teggy's somewhat more happy, a little unhappy because of the bad pressure regulator in there. I'm probably just gonna install this one tomorrow and maybe film another Integra vlog because my new camera will be here then too. There is, if I'm not mistaken, some sort of ball or flap of some sort that is missing from that check valve that is somewhere in my car, not affecting anything,
so far. It might just be in my fuel filter. I might have like a little tiny ball in my fuel filter. I don't like the sound of that. So tomorrow I will also be taking apart my fuel filter. Well, not taking it apart, but I'm going to take it off and see if I see a little ball in there or something. These videos are going to start getting a lot better with these new mounts and cameras and such. It's kind of cool. I'm going to really try to make my car shoot some flames and such, you know, hot boy stuff, because I don't know, I want to see it. Chance said he's seen it once out the ass of my car. He said I shot a little flame. So I want to turn up my fuel pressure just a little bit and drive down a dark road one dark night and, you know, strap my little GoPro thing on the ass of my car pointed towards my exhaust. And I just want to see what happens. I want to see if I actually shoot some big flames or if they're just like little pops, or I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I'm very, very curious. But yeah, stay tuned for this. I'm going to mess with my fuel filter, put that stuff back together and on my car, and I'm going to strap that little GoPro thing to, I'm just going to call it a GoPro. It's not a GoPro, but it's easier just to say a GoPro rather than action camera. So I'm going to strap the GoPro to the ass of my car and point it towards my exhaust and see if I can actually shoot flames and such. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I might do a little review on that camera as like a separate video or something. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Compared to this camera. Hopefully it's better than my phone's camera quality. Let's hope so. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next video and for Zach's stuff and the Camaro stuff. Peace.